Live. I am live. Regular YouTube style. What's going on, y'all? A little mic here. Greg said it live here. Straight off of YouTube. I'm just dilly-dallying around. I don't think I ever did it. If I did, it's been a long time ago. I did it straight off YouTube. I just want to see how this thing looks and how it feels and see if YouTube gonna treat it a little different. But come on in the room. Let us know when you're in the room. Whoop de woo woo. I don't know, maybe put chat on the screen, but you'll better see it. Anywho, no StreamYard, no Evenuts, no Be Live. Got some things that I'm switching around, clearly still. But anywho, y'all want to talk about these buffs here on our typical Sunday. No Shador today. That's different. No Colorado for the first time this year, 2026. We back in the off season. No games on Sunday. Now, so let me go ahead and pop up in here. Got a lot of activity as I expected. I can't say I had specific expectations, but I can say I did expect some activity surrounding this portal simply because I had no choice. I mean, you knew you was losing during the 40 seniors, and then you turn around and you knew you was pretty much going to be losing some guys. Make sure y'all hear me here with this mic sitting here. So I knew you're gonna be losing some guys. I knew you're gonna be losing some, some surprises, probably more surprises than you would expect. So I knew it was gonna be a significant amount of activity. Now, what kind of gave me some hope was when you saw Marion come in and his excitement. He's like a baby prime, and I said, okay, that's gonna help because at very least he gonna attract some guys through just his efforts. He's put in the work as a coach. He's put in the work as a head coach and played coach at a lot of different places as a recruiter. He's able to tap into some resources because they may didn't want to go to UNLV or may not even want to go to Sacramento State. Some did, but he had ability to go back, like Coach Prime, go back to some of these guys that you had relationships in the past with, whether it was on whatever level you was on. And Coach Prime was able to leverage that because it's like, hey, I've been on the arm, I've been this, I've been that. So it's like, boom, that's what's going on. So what's going on, y'all? See y'all in the chat. It's not my regular thing. I can't pop it up on the screen. At least I don't know how to with this YouTube. I'm on YouTube this day. So I see y'all in the chat. I think one of the biggest things that I don't know what these icons mean. What does these mean? 1, 2, 3. Okay. I'm just looking at this thing. But I think, just Josh Nesbitt, another one, Coach Josh Nesbitt. He was big in Alabama, top school in Alabama, then went to Georgia, one of the top schools in Gainesville. He leaving open up an opportunity for another young coach who's been doing this thing. I think he was at Buford. And so it opened up. So when people move, it open up doors. But maybe Josh Nesbitt wanted to try his chops at the college level. I've seen, like, for example, I'm in the DeKalb County area in Atlanta. Like I said, it's a football hub. And I see y'all in the chat. What's going on? Everybody was, Cedar Grove. Now, I grew up, Cedar Grove's all right. A lot of guys I grew up with went to Cedar Grove because it was around the area where I played park ball at. So they either went to Cedar Grove, Matt and there. I went to Columbia. Some of us went to Columbia. And a lot of them went to Southwest DeKalb. For people who know our area, right? So Cedar Grove has always been the area. But then you see Cedar Grove turned out maybe a decade or so later, they became a powerhouse. Like my school became a powerhouse in basketball because that was kind of teeter-totter with that. We became known all over the country for basketball. Then Cedar Grove took off in the football area. Now Carrollton was kind of coming up around that time too. But Cedar Grove, and they went on win several state championships, in the state championship every year, put out a lot of great players. And so the coaches started going to college. One of them went to Georgia State, and I think he's now at Tech. Now he's a coach at Tech. I think it was with Georgia State. I know probably a couple of them went to Georgia State. I know one of the ones I grew up with, one of the last coaches ended up coaching at Georgia Tech. I think one that went to Arkansas. I don't know if he's the one who came back to Georgia Tech, but I know one went to Arkansas. So I noticed that they all of them won state championships, at least one, sometimes two, sometimes three. Every last one of those guys ended up moving up to college. I even seen it in basketball. Some guys like when they just really just get in the groove, a lot of them end up going. I remember one of the basketball coaches, he was really killing at Miller Grove. He ended up coaching at Georgia State basketball. So, and that's only right. I mean, you maybe that's your aspiration, but I mean, you killing it at high school. You don't tap into that thing. You don't broke the mold. So it's like you know exactly what to do. So it's like I don't know if it's challenging anymore because once you figure that thing out, you got the system. You know the type of players. Then you attracting players. The kids want to play for you. People transfer. You just become dominant, and it's just once you've been somewhere, it's like a millionaire. You can take everything from them, but they know how to be a millionaire. They don't done it before. The chances are they're gonna do it again because they got the formula down. And I think a lot of coaches do that. So it's like Josh Nesbitt, the next step would definitely be college. And the fact that he knew Coach Prime, he was there taking notes just a year ago, all that Nike camps and all that. And I'm sure they had some conversations. It's like, boom, here's my opportunity. I mean, he didn't go to no group of five or group of six, what you want to call it. He jumped straight to Power Five, Power Four football. Why not take that opportunity? That's a big jump. He didn't go Division II. You used to have to slow walk that thing out of high school. You used to have to go division. And a lot of people are now, like I said the other day, a lot of people are FBS now, which is the top level of football. I mean, it's tiers even in FBS clearly because you got the group ofs, even though that's FBS, they treat it like it ain't Division I. They treat it like it's not FBS Division I because even FCS is Division I, but they treat FCS, which back in our day, FCS used to be called Division I AA. Yeah, Division I A, and we always knew it was different levels in Division I A because you come to Georgia and they beat you like you Division II. I remember with Houston's and the Utahs and the Wyoming's and all that used to be little play games. And before Houston, worked their way up to now they're in Big 12. I think what was they before that? American or Conference USA. They worked their way up through those. Utah too. I never had a lot of Utah was never no powerhouse. That was over the last several years. Maybe at the level they were playing, I don't know, but they was not going. There was no contest for a Georgia or Alabama. That's who I looked at. I even had the foolishness to look at Georgia Tech like a joke because we didn't really respect the ACC. SEC always had higher respect, but me being in Atlanta, Georgia Tech just didn't have the respect of a Georgia. And the ACC was decent. I mean, you had Florida. The Florida State was on the Big East at one point. It been ACC for a long time. I'm thinking about Syracuse, but Florida State, you had Miami, I remember areas like North Carolina, Clemson came on later. They were kind of decent, and then they got better later when they had a couple good quarterbacks out of Georgia, with Lawrence and even your boy Watson. So all of that, and Watson come out of Gainesville when Nesbitt just came from, So it was like, it's always been like levels to this thing. And Colorado had its day in the early 90s where, like they say, everybody, it was hot. I mean, everybody used to wear the Ice Cube on these. I remember Colorado when I was young in the early 90s. And it's like, maybe because that was a hot thing from the video games like Sega Genesis, stuff like that. I remember Colorado. You want to play with Colorado. And Nebraska was hot too. It had Frazier. So it was certain schools that had their points in history. And Colorado is on a prime that they can, no pun intended, they have a potential to get back there. They've been teeter-tottering with it. Now, I've given my feelings about this. Colorado had issues, to me, primarily on the defensive side of the ball. And on offense, yeah, they had like blocking issues and scheme. But I think that Colorado lost games because of their defense. If you really look at it, not being able to tackle, that's this year and the year before. Like when they lost to Kansas State, it was because they couldn't tackle. Even though they had a chance to win, it was some weird calls and some stuff that kept them. They could have won when they lost to Kansas. They couldn't tackle worth a crap. And I always equate, from my experience, you have strong linebackers. Where your linebackers go, so goes your defense. That's what I believe. And now people, DBs, you're in a very much run and driven sport, because ultimately, at the end of the day, that's one thing you can lean on. With the weather, the wind blowing, it's cold and rain, you can lean on the run. And because it's a physical sport, if you got that leverage, you're going to take it. You're going to dominate and push people around. And that's going to always be the advantage you have. You can risk throwing it in the air and somebody got to catch it and all that stuff. And if somebody faster than someone, yeah, you got that too. But ultimately, if my guys can push you around and your guys soft, I can always run all over you. And that right there, I don't matter how much talent I have or you have, that's going to be the difference in football, the physicality of it. That's why they always talk about the trenches. But one thing about the trenches that people don't think about, they don't think about the second level, which is, you might as well include in the trenches, especially how Colorado play them. They don't. They put them on the line foolishly. I don't like that, because one, you taking away my leverage. You're taking away my leverage. You know, I needs to have ability to have space to manipulate a big old clumsy dude. And if I make him come to me, I got the advantage. You know, I got the advantage if you come to me as a big lineman, because one, you can't see behind you, I can. So I can make you believe whatever I want you to. See, that people don't think, they don't use their brain. I can go this way, even though the ball going that way, and you don't know it's going that way. I can make you move out of the way just by doing that. And I'm really throwing off the running back. I can do a lot of things. I can throw out the running back and everything just by using my brain. And I can leverage that lineman against the running back. They don't think like that. Their IQ is not there. But I also was the guy who played everything in the secondary at some point, and at all levels, really. And just understanding, not just, this is what people get. I'm a fundamentalist, so it's like some people, they got the X's and O's, and they can go and look at some play. You know, they understand these coverages and schemes, and all that is here and there, because that it changes with all these new trees. It's like you had to go now offense. People come up with these new, so it's new things. That's always evolving, like technology, and it's different from different systems and different trees and all that. And that's cute, but ultimately, as a player, the issue, what I'm saying, everybody talk big and they want to have football jargon and talk over people's head. But the ultimate thing is, do you know the purpose of the position? Like, what's the ultimate purpose of a linebacker? What's the ultimate purpose of a tackle or nose or edge or end? Like, fundamentally, what is your assignment? Now, of course, that's going to change for a scheme, but ultimately, it is what it is. Like, okay, depending on the scheme, my assignment may change, but my purpose in my position ultimately is, for the most part, it is what it is in the defense. How I'm used may change, how I make it look, or how to, because all the looks and crap is about tricking the offense, but my job is my job. And that's how I think. Like, ooh, and you cute. That's cute what you saying. But let's bring you back down to earth. This is my job. And everybody, oh, that person there, they help this and they help that. No, what is your job? Your job is your job. Yeah, the person in front of you is a team, can help make your job easier or harder, but your job is your job. Can I get a witness? Your job is your job. Says, do you think offense can compete in the Big 12? Absolutely can. What is the Big 12? They competed last year with garbage. You know, I would love to see Livingston change, because I haven't seen much. And I'm looking at the check. I can't pop them up on the screen right now. She don't have enough money to compete. They do have enough money to compete. Indiana's in the national championship, and it ain't a money thing. And we're gonna get into that. We're gonna get into that, the bag and all that. Cause see, again, this is kind of like what I'm talking about. Like, y'all, some people just need to chill out. Like, everybody got different experiences and different levels of everything. Let's just humble that. I'm not an NFL. I'm not gonna act like I'm an NFL. I'm not gonna act like I'm somebody, but I know what I know. And so In this day and time, we can get on the internet and watch a bunch of videos and look at these fools on ESPN, and they may or may not know what they're talking about. It may be some bias involved. It may be some part truths involved. It may be a perspective and opinion that they have. But what happens when you go to repeating that crap, and then sometimes you repeating it and it's out of context just because you don't really know the difference. Sometimes you just be saying like, ah, da, 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 da. Like, I'm gonna give you an example. Some people be like, yeah, getting the guys down in the trenches, it make it easy on it make it with the linebackers and do that. Yeah, that's true if the linebacker know what they're doing. That's not true if they don't know what they're doing. Like that, you can't use that as an excuse. If your linebackers can't read, you wasting the line. You put Jadoze, 10 Jadozes there, and you say, yeah, he can make you look better because he's plugging up holes, he's slowing up the ability for the running back to make cuts, to read, he clogging up the area. Yeah, they make it easy for anybody. But for you to make it as if they're gonna make your job, you gotta still do your job. They're just playing as a team. They're just them doing their job so well, it make your job easier. Yeah, they can make your job easier or worse, but you can also make your job easier or worse by knowing what you're doing. And so when people making these comments, it's like context, because the context in reality is if you're not good at what you're doing, it don't matter who in front of you. And you can't use that as an excuse. I saw that first year of Colorado, and the defensive line is horrible. Well, the linebackers was just as horrible, if not worse. If not worse. If you that ain't freaking true. Why they skipped the linebackers all the way to the last game? They moving linebackers around trying to find a linebacker. And it was two things that they skipped around all year. Now you know they were finna lose. And they still could have won more games. And that's why I'm gonna get into this Big 12 thing, because it's like, it's not much. Because they floated and moved cornerbacks and linebackers around the whole year. The whole year. Think about it. I'm talking to people with like sense. Think about it. Think about this. Colorado, for the first year, they got this record. Yeah, that's another thing. Like, people repeating stuff. Look, they was 4-8. Look at the record. They lost 8 games. Out of those 8 games, only 2 of those games was blowouts. Probably about 5 of them was by a touchdown or less. All the games they lost were close, as bad as they played. See, I'm not y'all. I'm glad y'all know me. Y'all know me. Y'all can listen to all kinds of other stuff. A lot of people say all kinds of other stuff. I listen to them too. But I'm gonna say what I'm gonna say. I ain't repeating. See, I'm not gonna repeat what everybody say. Just I'm not here for that. Just to make a video. Like, I can do a lot more videos. I just want to make videos just to pump up algorithm. I don't have time or the interest to do that. But I'm gonna tell y'all this. When you look at a team that barely lose and they playing so horrible, they play so horrible, y'all. They miss so many tackles and still lose by a touchdown or field goal. Then from somebody who played the game, I'm like, that's what it's frustrating. It's frustrating. You know why it's frustrating? Because you be like, dang, they could have won. Then it's also frustrating, like, if they did win, I'm still not happy because of how they played. I'm like, man, the other team gave them game away. I feel like Iowa State they both played garbage. I like to see good football. It ain't even always about the win and lose. I don't want to see you lose no horrible game, and I don't really want to see you win a horrible game and be like, yeah, like somebody get burnt into some strap. Oh, he dropped the ball 10 yards behind you. You watching him burn you into my scrap. No, fool, you ain't scrap nothing. You scrap. That's why you right here, he back there. Somebody scrapped you to the 10-yard line. He in the end zone. That's the scrap. That's what gets me. Like, I don't brag about playing a horrible football game and win. All that stuff y'all say, I see y'all on track, drills and stuff. I'm gonna get to that. I'm working my way up to it. I'm not gonna rush. I'm gonna take my time. I see what y'all saying. This team played horrible the first year, and they had referees cheating their butt off. They couldn't catch a break. I'm just gonna call it what it is. They don't take away from the garbage play. I could have just said it, but I watched the games get manipulated when it was close. I watched calls get called against them and not for them. It's pass interference, not for them, pass interference against them at all the wrong times. We seen it even this year, at times. And it's like, dang. Now the second year, we didn't so much look at like, oh, they could have won the game because the games they lost. And Kansas State, that was a pass interference on Will Shepherd at the end, but they didn't call it. But it's like they really shouldn't have got on that point because Hood should have been on the doggone field, not Hodge. And they wouldn't threw that bomb. They would threw it at McKinney, and maybe they would try him. Hood would have been on pick the mess off because he already had to pick that game. Why was he not on the field? I don't know. But I do know this. Kansas State game got close because Colorado playing around with them. Then should have went Brady Moore, caught him, ran him down by like 2 touchdowns, but they weren't tackling worth of crap. Right? But they only lost 3 games that year. They lost Nebraska early that year, which they just couldn't move the ball. Now, even then, everybody said, "Oh, they got dominated so bad." They got in like the red zone like 4 or 5 times, and they got missed field goals, got field goals blocked. They were moving the ball as bad as they played. So why am I saying this? I know y'all saying, why is he saying this? Follow context. The reason why I can make predictions I make is because I look at the big picture, not repeat garbage crap that other people say that may be true or false. You repeat what haters say, you repeat what smart people say, you repeat what arrogant people say just to be right. You're right, but you're wrong. Because in context, if you look at it in context, if Colorado played halfway decent, they would win almost all those games. In this year, they had quarterback confusion. Who's going to be the quarterback? Musical chairs, and they still was in those games. Quarterback against Georgia Tech. They wasn't tackling. They didn't take advantage of stuff. Georgia Tech ended up on losing a couple games. All right. And you played with them. Yet you only won what? 3? So how you know what I'm saying? Like, what are you gonna say about that? Then you turn around, lower level teams, you played around with them. I think you went to Houston. What was after that? Delaware. You went to played Delaware at home, played around with them, let them hang around, stopped through a lucky thing. You say, okay, so we gonna go into Houston, a conference game between a non-conference game, which was weird in scheduling. I don't know that was, I don't know what caused that. He go down there, play horrible. They was in the game. Everybody's about Houston Blue. It's a lie. What did you watch? It was in the game with Houston all the way to the late in the third quarter with a quarterback situation that was raggedy with a defense that one tackling worth for crap. You shouldn't even be in the game. You shouldn't even be in the game. They weren't getting beat 58-0. They weren't getting beat how Indiana beating team. Now they play Indiana. They want to beat Colorado 100-0. Because one thing about Indiana, they is so doggone. It's like the person who good, they don't even know they good. Indiana beat the mess out of you and they don't even know how to put the foot on the brakes. They don't even know how to look at the scoreboard. Look at the scoreboard. A lot of teams, they look at the scoreboard and the crowd. They step on the brakes. They take their foot out the gas. Indiana so doggone silly. They don't even know how to do it. They don't care who they playing, man. They will beat. They showing you. They've been doing it all season. I remember they beat Illinois. I was like, oh, this team different. I don't even watch Indiana. I just hear about them. And I already knew because remember, I know how to analyze. I don't repeat crap and listen to other people to give me perspective because I have my own perspective and I know the sport enough. I don't even have to study it like that. Some of you got overstudy and repeat stats analytics to sound smart. Look, I know the game. I said, look here. If they beat Illinois was a decent team. They were Illinois. They beat them like 63-3. It was something like that. I said, okay, they different. I ain't never watched them play. Not to watch the whole game. I ain't care to watch a game. I don't watch a lot of people. I said, that right there, they different. And then I saw their record and their ranking. I said, they going to go all the way. I'm telling y'all right now, Miami ain't going to have a problem with them because Miami, as good as they are, they make mistakes. And the last thing you want to do is make mistakes against Indiana because Indiana always take advantage of your mistakes. And they don't know how to take their foot off the gas. They don't have no heart, no soul. And them going to let FCS boys beat the mess out of you No name. They worse than how old boy used to be back in the Patriots with Tom Brady. No name boys will beat the mess out of you. Indiana, you mess around and be down 21-0, you might as well pack everything up because they not gonna make enough mistakes, and you're not better than them. At least you probably as good as them. They not gonna allow you to run them down. They not gonna make enough mistakes for you to run them down, and they don't take their foot. So even if you score, they're gonna keep scoring. So they up here, you here. The gap never narrows. And you know, we can say if a lot of reasons it's culture, it's this, it's that. But I'm gonna tell y'all, I don't know what it is. It's clearly something. But they got something that what Colorado is emulating right now. They got talent that people overlooked and is overlooking because they don't have the name, they don't have the stars. The NFL used to be built like that, off a bunch of 3 stars and stuff like that. Indiana took the guys from James, you know it's something deep because they took guys in their coach from James Madison. James Madison still was good in that year, and they were just good this year. They went to the playoff this year. 2 years after your coach leave, took players with them. Everybody else fall apart when they coach leave. They still was good last year. They was talking about why they couldn't get in the playoff last year. They were undefeated before that, before he went to Indiana. And James Madison played in the freaking Sun Belt. Everybody making history. They making playoff in the Sun Belt. I remember the Sun Belt when I was like, what is the Sun Belt? I remember when Kennesaw was in the Sun Belt. Yeah, it's like clearly the Sun Belt don't went up. So some of these people either went to the Sun Belt or Conference USA. Everybody, rising tide raises all ships. I remember it was like, what is those? Conference USA, Sun Belt, those type of conferences. Sun Belt putting people in the playoff, play against Oregon. How did that happen? I thought when they added teams to the playoff, it's just gonna be more of the same. How they're gonna put one FCS team? How Tulane, all these teams get in there? I thought it was gonna just be one, not FCS, but one. You know, group of 5. That's what you're looking at, y'all. The game has changed right in front of y'all eyes. I just made 2 points and one y'all can't follow. I made a point that CU was a team that as garbage as they played, somehow the other teams look themselves in the mirror because they was in the game with y'all. That means you was making mistakes that they was not good enough or smart enough to take advantage of. So that means you ain't that great, or they missing tackles and you still let them be in the game. That means, boy, if they get a little help, they'll beat you. That's what that mean to me. If I don't care, you call them a JV team. I look at not if you get beat, but how you get beat. When you sit up here and you let a team that you say ain't talented, ain't coached well, they making a lot of mistakes, and you only beating them by a touchdown, or you late in the game, what is that saying about you? So it also tells me they got hope. That's the hope that Colorado has. If they get their head out of their behind and get the right players, which they are doing, now the only thing left is the coaching. And it goes back to the other point I made. Where do you find these players? Everybody want the bad. So basically, it's no longer FCS only, but it's lower level FBS is now JUCO. It's now what you call minor leagues, developmental. Even the coaches are literally selling these players on the fact that, hey, you come here, one of the bigger guys gonna come get you. That's the selling point to recruit these guys now. So now it's like your approach towards your kids going to school can't be a clown like I was. I was looking laughing at Georgia Tech when I was coming out. I mean, this foolishness I had. Division I program. I'm like, you ain't Georgia. I really like. I was Georgia Tech, Virginia. Them people recruit me. I'm like, I ain't even entertaining it. Now I'm silly by myself now. But now, shoot, I ended up going to Kennesaw my last couple of years, doing more on the baseball level. Kennesaw was baseball, and they didn't have they were top to bottom. My football team undefeated. It was a joke. And like the new president came in, he got that football program going, and they were playing like club ball and stuff. I'm like, how long is it gonna take for them to really be? Because this is Division I baseball. Y'all can't be that far behind. They had a little stadium, the soccer team, local professional soccer was using. They got that, they shared it or whatever. I looked up, they was Division One. I'm like, dang, that was a big jump. They ain't not, they had already switched from the Division One AA type thing. It was Division One, right? And then slowly they started using the LCS and stuff like that. So I'm looking like, okay, they're gonna try to catch up to where Georgia State at, because Georgia State had not too long got their football program. And they kind of moved kind of slow, and they jumped up there. And I'm like, Kennesaw gonna be right behind them. You look up now, all them boys FBS now. Not FCS. They don't jump to FBS. They don't play in that Sun Belt and all that. And now it's clearly a different Sun Belt, clearly Conference USA. Now they got different weight now. And I think I know why. See, what has happened. This has always been the case, y'all. A lot of these guys used to be Division II players. See, I went to a Division II. I ended up going to Division II. And I fought and clawed because of this exact situation. You go to a certain school, you silly, your coach is silly, they don't know what they're doing, you fall through the cracks. Y'all don't know where about that. Know this. Anybody who actually played ball or who got kids or who coach, you will know this happens, especially in saturated areas like Atlanta. Y'all don't have a clue how this thing works. When you recruiting, everybody's like, they recruit better. You better have certain tentacles in place, and especially if you're on the other side of the country. That's why back in the day, people on the West Coast, you only recruit the West Coast, people in the South, and they kind of just kind of made their hotbeds. It was rare that you get a guy from California before social media and all that to come to Alabama. He had to be something else, but he was the rare token. And maybe some JUCO stuff, like he ended up going to a JUCO over here or something like that. But most JUCOs was out there on the other side. That's what the better JUCOs were over there in California and stuff. And that's how you end up going to them schools out there, because that's what they recruited in their area. So now you're looking at like, the talent was always like that, man. I played with some guys, and some of them went to NFL. At Division II, it was nothing to see. I played against some guys with some guys at Division II. There's no way they shouldn't have been in the NFL. Absolutely easy. They could have played at any level, and some of them end up going to NFL and play. And this Division II, man. This we got Division II, Division I AA, which is now FCS, and then FBS are all the same, but it was levels. Like I said, Mexico State and all of them, they was always in there, but they get beat 60-0 before halftime in the UGA opener. But these guys, I mean, I remember I was at my school. The guy, let me tell you, like we was in South Georgia, right? And at the bottom of South Georgia, South Georgia, called Valdosta. Anybody know about Valdosta? Valdosta should have been moved up. See, some schools just didn't move up. They could have, and it was harder back then. We was like, what? Valdosta should have been moved up to at least FCS level. At least FCS level. I remember FAMU was at Division I AA. They still at FCS level. They was acting like they was gonna move up to what was now FBS, like a lot of schools like Kennesaw doing. They didn't do it. They tried, they failed. They tried. If it's about stadium size or recruiting numbers, it was some technical stuff with the school as well, infrastructure wise. And Valdosta would get all them boys. They right on the Florida line. They would get them boys out of Florida State, literally. That's why they were so good, literally. Like, they linemen look like some out of Georgia. Like, we played them, like, God, they were huge. And they beat everybody every year, and they win national championships. And so my school, the HBCU I went to, we doggone, the only other team that gave us a problem every year was them. And then finally, I think my second year, we finally beat Valdosta for the first time in history. And then we turned around and played them in the third round of playoff and had them down like 21-0, and then let them come back and beat us in the rain. And they ended up going and win a national championship. It was gonna be them or us, because nobody else. We were beating the mess out of everybody too. They beat everybody. Even the next week in the semifinals, they beat the mess out all the way to the championship. They beat the mess out of teams. We was the only team that beat them and could beat them. And that year, they literally had Florida State's quarterback. Florida State starting quarterback. This is at Division II. There is no way that would have happened. Now he would have went to another, because what happened, you had to drop down. It was no, if you went to another school on the Division I level, you had to miss a year unless you went down to Division II or I AA. Like, I remember Georgia running back got in trouble one time. He went to I AA and went to HBCU at Alabama at State or something like that. But he didn't go to Division I AA. He went to Valdosta. That's how I know Valdosta really was 1AA. They beat the mess out of a lot of 1AA. Easy. Because they had Division I players. That's why they run through Division II. There's a lot of teams like that in Division II. South Alabama was like that. That's what they now what they ain't they Division I? Yeah. And so the quarterback was on ESPN. I remember the dude. He was on ESPN. He got in trouble. And he was a little bitty dude. He looked big on TV, but a little bitty dude. But the man he was on a whole nother level. Man, he took that offense and all them boys, and they went through everybody, man, that year. That's how it was. The talent was always trickled out there if you really knew what was going on. So they don't figure this thing out. Indiana has cracked the code. James Madison has cracked the code because it started at James Madison. That's why they kept being undefeated in the crap. And then the coach just so happened to win. He just so happened to went to Indiana, took some players with him, and he took that methodology or whatever he got with him, and he's still using the same philosophy. He still ain't got a whole bunch of big name guys. And he took the garbage that was left in Indiana, and he took the players from James Madison, and look what he got. Look what he got. You got all these people to go to all these schools, overpay, and they finally get it, y'all. And Colorado is showing that they ain't slow on the curve. They immediately did it. I'm going to call it the Indiana method, aka James Madison method. You heard it first on Greg Said It. Get your notepad. This is nothing new, but most people too arrogant or too lazy to figure this out. I live this. It's many guys, more guys than not, who didn't go to the camps, who didn't go to the right school, or they had a coach that knew how to recruit. He was the math teacher that they threw in there. They programmed on respect sports, or he from a small town or whatever, and they talented, but they don't go to big schools only because they don't get exposure. And it's easy to get exposed now. You got Huddle and YouTube, but it's still kind of the same because the raising tide raises all ships. So it's just noise. You know, it's a lot of, even if you better know how to do it, you better know how to market. Even when you do, you still one person a much. So a good recruiter like a Marion, he's been known to put his ear to the streets, go talk to these flag coaches, these trainers, and say, hey, you know a guy? And be like, yeah, I know a guy. He ain't got no scholarships, but he the best in the area. It's always like that out there, y'all. In every city, every state, it ain't just country towns. In cities like mine, it's plenty of talented guys who going to get overlooked. It's going to happen. It ain't been a victim. It's going to happen because you got so many schools and you only got so many scouts, and they can't visit every school and they can't go to every game. And because there's so many games going on, so many schools, if they don't really have their ear to the road, they're not going to hear. Y'all hitting them lights? I don't know about it. Y'all need to get them lights up. I'm giving y'all some real game. I'm giving y'all this raw game. I ain't giving y'all this cute game. I ain't giving y'all this I ain't even giving y'all this insider. I'm giving y'all this raw game that very few people understand. And it made me have to do some find some things right now to help these kids. Some people reached out to me. I wasn't even trying to do this because I don't care about this crap like that. But it's about the people, man. It's about the effort you put in, and I don't live this. It's guys out here right now. Y'all probably know some. They probably your nephew, your kids, your whatever, your somebody you knew, grew up with, neighbor, your classmate son. They be like, boy, they good. What school they going to? That's in every sport. It ain't just football. But it's, you know, it's when you got so many things going on, if you don't really have the connections, if you don't be in the right place at the right time or know how to put yourself in the right place. Some people are groomed enough to know how to put themselves in the right place. Like they got the connections to go to the right camp. They know where the people gonna be at, and they know how to be there, and they do the right thing. Sometimes people ain't gonna gamble on you because you don't have the big name. A lot of people just followers, y'all. A lot of people just want to jump on the bandwagon. any big time recruiter tell you, a lot of people, big schools don't even want to give they don't see other people giving you a scholarship. They don't even they ain't got the gonads to be the one who gamble on you. And usually when a big school finally do, that's when all the other schools jump on. Like people. They don't even want to laugh at your joke to somebody. They about to hold a fart in, trying to not laugh at your joke until somebody else laughs. Something funny. It's funny to everybody. And then there's one person laughing. They waiting for that one person. You see them video of people dancing, twirling, like the people doing that twirling that shirt. People are followers, man. They'll see one guy do it, and then they'll be like, next thing you know them videos, them social experiments, and one guy dancing, everybody looking at him. Next thing you know, the whole crowd dancing. You do it long enough with confidence, somebody coming along. That's how these coaches recruit, man. That's how you get 4 stars and 5 stars. This one kid who blow up the camp. What's going on, chat? What's going on, all y'all? I'm on YouTube, so I ain't putting on the screen all that. Y'all go ahead and do y'all thing. You go to these big camps and the big school give you that, and then next you know, they competitors or other people who right below them say, "Oh, I'm gonna give you a scholarship too," because they must know what they're doing. Just like this social experiment where you say you put somebody in a room with a bunch of people, every 5 seconds they stand up, and you look at them, then you say, "I guess I'm supposed to stand up too." And then next you know, you standing up, and then they all leave, and you still doing it. They gone, you still doing it because you don't been programmed. And then the new person come in and he following you. Sheep to the slaughter. That's how people are. You gotta understand. I'm a psychologist. I went to school. That's how people work. They are followers. So when you look at the scholarships and how scholarships are given out, you have to be the person who ain't scared. And Colorado has shown at this point, they ain't the first. And Coach Prime, he don't done it. I mean, he don't gave guys shots. I mean, you see Jimmy Horn them came up. Them boys came up. He gave a lot of guys shots because he came in with the HBCU mentality. He brought guys for HBCU, like he said. He's done it. But the recruiting staff, I don't think, was really fully indoctrinated into that. That's what I believe happened. It's something happened there. I don't think one person or other, but I don't think the full story has been told. It's something happened. Because, yeah, you got other content creators out there saying, yeah, I told them to get them, and they was like, he ain't big enough. He ain't this. I don't think none of them lie. People just get all their feelings. They get all. I think there's a lot of truth with it. I think Matt McChesney is telling the truth when he say, they want to recruit. It's clear you ain't got them. Oh, you can talk all the stupid stuff about what you think he trying to do. Well, that's irrelevant. If he trained all these linemen and he went to your school and he always lying about fight something and he there, and you ain't recruiting none of his players, he ain't lying. He ain't 100% lying. He ain't got to be 100% telling the truth, but he certainly ain't lying. Cause why you ain't recruiting none of his players? And they good enough to go to these other schools. You can't say that he's lying. Only an idiot will say that. Like, you got no wisdom. You got to have better discern through all this crap and dumb egos and emotions and flaws of people to see that just because they stupid, that don't mean they lying. Just because they crazy don't mean they lying. Just because they arrogant don't mean they lying. They ain't telling all the truth, but that don't mean they say they ain't telling none of the truth. Now people doing politics and everything else, fools. It ain't benefiting you to be no fool. It could be a mixture of truths. That's what all this confusion is. That's confusion is chaotic. Because it's hard to figure out who telling the truth. Because it's all over the doggone place. But the reality is this. Coach Prime has been on the right path. He know, but I think he's finally embraced it. Because I think part of him wanted to do this, but I think part of him wanted it. Like, even with the coach picks, I got to impress you all with these names for the people to be happy and impress y'all with, I got this guy from the SEC. And I think he was halfway committed to that. I build my team without these no names and no stars. He came in and said, I don't care about the stars. But then he had the doggone, his recruiting team wasn't fully on board. And they like, yeah. Go get that boy from over there from Ole Miss. I don't care if he garbage. Because it make us look good. We was able to recruit this guy from Ole Miss. But if he can't play, so now Coach Brown, like, I'm going to every room. I'm looking at all the film. That's telling you he didn't do that before. And I'm giving y'all the explanation of why. I'm giving y'all the explanation of why. he's finally going to fully embrace what he always wanted to do. That's what I believe. And I think it was a partiality between what he wanted to do and the proof of concept. And I think Indiana has gave the proof of concept. Yeah, I appreciate you, Patrick Williams, because these people talking foolish, man. You know, I don't know Matt. I'll probably never meet him, but I ain't no fool. And some people just fools. And this is how I know you're a fool. This is how I know you're a fool, because you don't analyze the full picture. You to my he emotional, he emotional. I mean, he emotional, you emotional, because this is the reality. If this man went to that school and he was there before you got there, while they were losing, before Coach Prime, and he will be there after Coach Prime, God willing, because he's dedicated to the school. We're not dedicated to the school. How are we to judge him? If he want to screw his school over, that's his right. That's his school. That ain't your school. What you care? You talk like you care about more about Colorado than he do. You stupid. You can't think that. Yeah, with all his flaws, with all his that, what you can say, people can talk about you too. Everybody, you like a spirit of accusation. I can accuse you, can accuse me, because that's what you do. You look, you spend your life pointing at people flaws, like you flawless. Let me tell you something. That man that's his school. That's his school. You can say you more than him than that, whatever. That's his school. If he got some stuff mixed up, he got some NIL stuff going on. He got some conflict of interest. That's a given. He got conflict of interest because he got to be torn between. I don't like Nebraska, but then I got to take my kid up there. I got to take my guys on to visit Nebraska. He got to be professional. He can't be stupid and be like, I don't want to go nowhere but Colorado, because that's not looking out in the best interest. That's not using the best interest of your players. But you're stupid if you're going to tell me that he's going to not want his school that he played at, that he's been supporting before you got there, because you want to sell yourself a lie that he's gonna sabotage his school because of Coach Prime. Because at the end of the day, he's gonna be gone. If Coach Prime be gone, I'm sure he's gonna be still there. He's an alum. So you can't sit here and say that he's gonna overrule his support for his school because he wants to. Come on, man. Come on now, that's deranged. Whatever issue you claim he has, which he has not said he has with Coach Prime, he's not going to let that override the fact that he is loyal to his school. He's loyal to Coach Prime because Coach Prime is the coach for his school. He's not loyal to Coach Prime for you are, fool. So his decision on supporting his school or not is not based off of Coach Prime on any level. Because at the end of the day, just like you see Michael Irvin down there looking like a maniac, taking his belt off like somebody old grandpa, run around. We let Warren Sapp come on the show with a doggone University of Miami jacket on Uncle Needham show, and he coached at Colorado. That's unheard of. That's like Dion going around and wearing Florida State gear. What I'm saying is these people love their school. You can't take that away from them. And when they school doing good, you can't say, oh, you coaching at Colorado, you can't go and support your school because they're in the national championship. Man, please. Because they are loyal to their school no matter what career. Because guess what? Their career gonna change. Coach Sapp can be at Colorado this year, a couple years from now, he can be somewhere else. But he will always be a Miami Hurricane. So if you don't comprehend that, I'm sorry. Because Matt McChesney, you got some. Go tell him that. How about that? Go argue with him. If you feel like you know more about what he trying to do, go get slapped in the mouth by him, body slam. Because that's why I was suspect and hope he do. Because you can't tell another man what he trying to do. He ain't here to defend himself. I don't believe in that punk stuff now. You don't talk about that man like say what he mean. Like he can say what he mean, and if he lie, he a liar. That's on him. But I ain't gonna put words in another man. Say I ain't on that punk stuff. I'm not gonna put no words in another man's mouth and say that's what he meant. I give my opinion about something, but I'm not gonna turn around and say he ain't here to defend himself. Say it to his face. Go ahead, man. Because this is the reality. He's one example of he's a resource. And if he got players there and you ain't never recruited him, you a fool to say that it's because of him. That ain't nobody ain't been recruited out of Colorado. It's some truth to what the man's saying. And you ain't gonna totally put it on his whatever, his business practices or whatever. Because even if it was business, he made some money. Make some money with him then. Get some of his players and pay him. He paying everybody else. So why would it even matter? If he bringing you players like everybody else agent bringing you players, how do you find a way to not get none of his players because you don't want him to make no money? Everybody else making money. If you don't want to claim about money and this and that. If it's about money, pay him then. Pay him like you paying everybody else. You need linemen. They're available. They want to go to your school. Then that's a stupid excuse to say, oh, well, because why? Then if he a fake and a fraud like you claim he is, then treat him like every other agent and pay him like you paying everybody else agent. Why are you going to judge him? If he is trying to make money, well, everybody else making money. At the end of the day, if the players that you need, whatever way they're coming, whoever they're coming through, if they are available, get them. Now, if you got other better people to get it through, then get it through them. But that ain't even the point because Coach Prime is showing you they're going to go and get players from New Mexico State. How many players they just got from New Mexico? At least three guys out of New Mexico State. You see? Let me tell you. New Mexico State, about 3 out of there. You got 1 out of North Dakota. What was the other school? It was another. I know got Sacramento State, of course, right? The guys in and out of San Jose. You see that kind of like some guys going back and forth between San Jose, Fresno, that West Coast, that West Coast thing, right? You ain't necessarily trying to pull people from, Arizona State. Yeah, 2 from Madison. You're not trying to pull everybody from your Ohio State. People who's on the bench, who's disgruntled, because you're not bringing disgruntled people. See, this is it. You can go get somebody disgruntled. I was on the bench. I should have played. They're gonna bring that to you. You're gonna wonder why they're in the portal the next year. You bringing guys who don't did all their 4 years or they don't play, and they strictly saying, "I'm coming here to prove I can play at this level." They got a chip on their shoulder, and they got production, and their skills translate to what you're doing, what you need. You go and get a bunch of them, because think about it. I said 4,000. It was probably at that time. It was at a point not too long ago. I don't know where it is now. I don't know if it went up or down. I'm sure they're taking some out by now. Over 10,000 players in the portal. I don't care. I don't care how many players you need. If you can't find out of 10,000, you need to fire your whole recruiting staff, because you know what you need. And you ain't going to get everything you want, but you surely should get what you need with 10,000 players in the freaking portal. If you too lazy to, get, if you too lazy to get guys that you need out of 10,000, all you need is 50 or 60. Your whole recruiter staff is on vacation somewhere, because they out there. That was the whole point of me giving y'all this spiel. Division II, Division I AA. They out there. You just got to know how to find them. And you gotta recruit. You gotta hire people who know how and where to find them, and who to find them from. Because if you got the right connections in certain areas, the ear to the road, it's like the military movies. Somebody always know what's going on in the hood. And you're not gonna be able to go to all them schools. You're not going to be able to go to all the games, but you should be able to get on the phone, Twitter, or whatever, and know a guy. That's I'm kind of like what I'm doing. A guy. You know a guy down there that's a good receiver who da. Yeah. Actually, I do. That he's not getting a lot of looks. You know a guy, or actually, he graduated last year, but he ain't happy. He ain't happy up there at such and such. He went to this big old school, or he went to this little school, and he just dominate. And he work out with me during the summer, or he da. These trainers, that's where the gold mine is at. This guy who's training these guys, that worked with Marion. He trained Jimmy Horn. He out of Atlanta. Was it Coach Steph? These kind of guys, these trainers, these like I said, people who coached them at 7-on-7 leagues is big now. Like ain't just Cam Newton. These people play against these guys. And sometimes you play a guy, he be like, what school you going to? Oh, I ain't committed yet. I don't have nobody yet. Oh, you usually, what can you do? If you don't know that guy who know that guy screwed. He gonna be that guy we always knew. Oh, he was good as Jordan. He didn't get he went to a little school. Oh, he went to that little school and broke all the records. Well, now the transfer portal is making it where you can leave. You ain't got to go sit out of here. When I came up, I wanted to leave and go to Georgia. I had to sit out of here because going up or sideways, you got to sit out of here. You only can go down. Now the portal, like every few months, you can jump in the portal. I don't like this school. I don't like that school. Now these people ain't gonna have no degrees. I'm gonna tell you that now. All their credits gonna get jacked up. Every time you move, you losing a year. They gonna need all 7 of them years of eligibility to graduate because they start no every year. They just going to class for fun. I'm telling you, that's one thing. You better have your jump together. You transfer, especially out of state, into a different education system. Them fools gonna hurry up and say, "Well, you know, we only can take half of your credits." What hustle? A real hustle. That's what it is. Ultimately, what I'm saying, this particular team, I can't say they're gonna be in the national championship, play all this and that. I ain't gonna go that far. But what I am gonna say is this year team has the potential. And we said it last year. I ain't with the hype crap. I ain't with the repeating cup. Last year, the only reason I went along with certain stuff, I had questions about the linebackers. I knew they only brought in a couple of them, and they were small. Or no, French was. I'm like, he little, but he better be hell on wheels at linebacker. He's slimmer than DB. I said that, and then what's called look the part. Hughes come in, but I know from a linebacker perspective, I got to see you on the field. Like, okay, you made a lot of tackles. I hope that translate. They didn't. Let's be real with y'all. They didn't have this type of recruiting class last year. They didn't have the type of production. The linebackers they got this year already 2-3 times better than what they was last year on paper. They ain't talking about what they look like. They got double, triple the quality of linebackers already, and they could still bring in more because they got the room to do it. This is what I said. Hill Green came from what was it? Charleston. I think he came from Charleston. And he was coming out of Michigan, right? And you're like, oh, who is he? Hill Green became a household name. And then he ended up going to Alabama because I guess he thought he'd get more out of that. His name was here. He could have made a name for himself here because he is that guy. He had all the attention on him. He wanted to go to Alabama. I hope he got what he wanted. But I'm going to tell y'all now, just what I seen. I can just tell you only what I know. You got at least 2-3 Hill Greens you cutting this year. That's how I know you're going to be better. You got 2-3. Hill Green single-handedly made a huge him and Block Bullet Shadoze in the middle changed the way the difference between that year before and that year defense looked like. It don't take a lot. That's why they record change. It doesn't take a lot. Because when they freed that up, all of a sudden they was number 1 in sacks, right? Because remember, Hill Green didn't start as the linebacker. They're like, well, Colorado always don't start people in that. Well, they didn't start Silman Craig. They didn't start Hilman Craig. They didn't start Bayer. I don't know. That's silly to me, too. But Hill Green, probably about second, third game started. Hill Green, single-handedly. Bentley was just like Batman Robin. Like, Bentley was, he wasn't no Hill Green. If it was 2 Hill Greens, they would have been in the conference championship. Y'all, you got at least 2. I would say 3 Hill Greens, as far as style of play and the impact potential this year. I don't know all the boys' names. I'm not going to act like it. I don't never do this time. Y'all don't even try to. But I'm looking at it from afar overall. The linebacker of New Mexico, he's going to be a decent role player. But you got that linebacker out of Dayton. He's going to be solid. You brought that linebacker out of Texas, really solid. And I think I'm missing one. I know I'm missing one. You brought in several, and then you got a couple young guys. You got a couple. So he didn't have the same role. What happened with Hill Green? Hill Green went to, he already said Ismail Dayton and Bowling Green. Hill Green messed up because he basically went back to his Michigan mode. Michigan, he was a role player. He could have stayed in Michigan. He wanted to be the guy. He went to Charles. He was the guy. He came to CU. He was the guy at the highest level you can be at to be the guy. You go to doggone Alabama and all them, you're not gonna be the guy because there's a whole bunch of the guys. Because now you got to go back with the 5 stars. So they can't just put you out there only. You could have been the man, and that's how people don't know how to analyze. And I mean, and there's some other stuff going on. Maybe they didn't get along. I don't know. But he's not gonna be the guy at Alabama or Georgia or like that. He's just not, because you got too many other D guys. But you're gonna be the guy at Colorado. See, that's what people got to realize. You can be the guy. That's why I'm glad Jordan Seaton didn't go. I think he was on the edge. Jordan Seaton, you're the guy at Colorado. You're gonna go to the NFL regardless. Why would you? Don't be stupid. You go on to NFL, but you're the guy. This is your team at Colorado. You can, if you win, it's around you. You're not just on the side. You can got the rest of your life to just be a guy. In the NFL, you're gonna be a guy. You can be the guy and build around you, and you can be like, oh, you still going to the NFL. Especially if they build an offense that's gonna actually help you. Now, if it's gonna lower your stock, I don't blame you. Like Juju, I said, I don't blame you. But they brought in the OC. I can't that help. That OC gonna help you look good because the numbers gonna look good. Y'all gonna win. It's gonna help you. Hill Green could have been the guy at Colorado because when he made plays, and he was starting to get a name. And they would have been looking for. He would have been all conference and everything if he ever came back to the Big 12. They were like, oh, this is the guy from last year, first team all conference. He just off of what he did. And he would have made plays, and he would have made a difference in that defense. Because that defense, they couldn't find no linebacker play, man. Them linebackers, man, they run into the wrong holes. How you going to hit somebody if you run into the wrong hole? Hill Green didn't run into the wrong hole. He ran through the hole and through you. And it was clear. Everybody heard it and felt it. And he built a name for himself. He didn't think about that. Or maybe it was some other issues going on. I maybe think it's that. Because I thought he was out of eligibility. But you got that. You got those type of linebackers. That boy ESPN, I don't think he's big as Hill Green, but I think he's gonna hit like him. I think that Texas linebacker, Somalia, he gonna hit. He gonna hit, and he athletic. He remind me of that linebacker out of BYU, that slim linebacker. I can say about the money, or whatever, but if you're trying to get stats, you in your last year, it's not money. It's your stats. Now, if you're gonna get both, get both. Like Beck, I guess he getting both. It looked like he made the right decision. He went further than Georgia in the national championship. It looked like he right. I didn't know he was right. It looked like he right. But he in control of his stats. And he wasn't downgrading far as a line. And the competition wasn't as challenging. Really. So it's like he benefited. So I definitely want 3 linebackers because it's wasteful if you don't. You got too many good linebackers. Then you got 2 very good young linebackers that you was really excited about before the portal. Get them in there. Don't let them just be running hit the portal because they probably hit the portal anyway if they play good like our last 2 edges did. But get them boys in there. Them young boys, Crawford and all. We got some young boys that's ready to come in and play. Get them in the game, not just the special teams. So you got a nice linebacker core. That right there, to me, great linebacker, that's going to make your difference. Because if they do just so happen to get through your front line, somebody going, like Hill Green. And the safeties ain't going to have to be always worried about come up and hit. The coverage going to be better. They said it. Your coverage going to be better when you got to say it by because he know it's going to be 20 miles of green between him and you got to narrow down that field as soon as possible. He going to bite. It's going to open up all the junk over top because he worried about doing the linebacker job. I know what I'm talking about. I played all the doggone positions. I played every last one of them on defense side. Really could have played all of them on the offense. The one I didn't play, I could have played probably the best, and that was quarterback. That's the only position I didn't play. But I played every doggone thing on that defense side of the ball. I don't play corner. I don't play safety, strong safety, linebacker, and it's something defensive end, line. Yeah, I don't play all of them. At all the levels. One thing I always did, I played multiple positions. And so what I'm saying, I'm telling you what I know. If the linebacker play well, it takes pressure off of the defensive line because all he got to do is his freaking job. He ain't got to be a superhero because hey, Colorado been playing. If the defensive line don't make the tackle, the linebacker show ain't. If they do, they run them down from behind 20 yards up the field. The safety got to come up and have, like the first year with Shiloh. How you leading the tackles with safety as a safety? Your safety's leading the tackles. That means your linebackers is a joke. Your linebackers should be leading the tackles. Period. Because they should have nowhere else to go but to your linebacker. And they should be barely having that because the defensive line have good gap integrity and the linebackers that'll fill it. If he ain't that'll fill it, what good is he there for? He's not everybody up on the line and he still run through that. Quarterback take off. Oh, defense actually covering. I'm just gonna run right up the middle with no line because the linebackers is on the outside because dumb coach put him out there. That's the only thing I got with Livingston. He putting the linebackers on the outside like edge rushers on top of edge rushers. Like, that's ridiculous. They ain't running out there. They running straight up the middle, fool. Why'd you take your people out the middle of the field? At least be smart enough to drop them back. At least disguise it. You ain't even trying to do no. But that's what bothered me more. I said, we're going to do positionless defense. I don't mind everybody line up on the line. Fool, don't stay there. Don't let them know that's the only thing you finna do. And they just throwing slants in the middle of the field wide open. They ain't got to read nothing. And y'all ain't never getting home. Now, I know they got a lot of hungry edge rushers this year. I can't act like I don't know what to do because I don't know if that he's going to translate. But somebody's going to translate. And we don't know their name. We don't know who they are. Some of we send them interview like every year. You're like, somebody going to click. They got several good edge rushers. Somebody going to click because you just got rid of the young ones. And I don't know if that was smart for them to do. But they were going to play. Merritt, McPherson. They had a bright future. I don't know why they would do that. But I know you got some veteran edge rushers coming in with production, and somebody going to click. Somebody finna make a name for themselves. Now, if they going to jump in the portal next year and say, I want to check, I don't know. Depending on how many years eligibility they have. But I know they done bought a bunch of edge rushers. And I'm telling y'all, some of them bullies. They BJ Green style. I seen one BJ Green style, but I seen, I think it's the one from New Mexico. The dude played every position on the line. He that athletic. He played the 1 to the 2 to the 3 to the 4. He played every technique. Hand in the ground, hand off the ground. I mean, he was an animal. I was like, he definitely had to get off from that level. I think it was New Mexico State. I said, so many of them. You got to think about it. They bring guys from everywhere. And all of it, it's like, I joke, I call it, but they got the FBS, LCS All-Star team. Because they got so many of them they got to bring in, but they ain't bringing in no scrubs. We thought they were going to be able to bring in a bunch of guys like they did the first year who was hurt, who ain't played. They ain't bringing in a bunch of guys who was hurt and ain't played. They bringing in a bunch of guys who was at the lower level, but they was captains and they was all conference. You joking. They the best at their level. They ain't just bring in a FCS guy. They bring in the best at their level, which means at the very least they can compete at this level. They dominated at their level. So at the very least, they can function at this level. It's not gonna be no, I'm the best at this Division I level, and I'm just gonna be garbage over here. No, that's foolish. That's foolish. They have the ability to bring in guys who can immediately contribute. The only thing I don't doubt what Marion gonna do. Marion gonna do what he gonna do. Marion gonna do it. He don't want to got all the weapons he need. Well, he like them movies when they walk in, they got all them guns and they bombs and every missiles, and they just got they give me some of them. Marion got everything he need. He can get a couple more linemen and stuff like that, but he got what he need. He got the speed that we ain't never seen. We used to get so happy about having. I think Hodge left. I hate that, but we used to get Dylan Edwards so fast, man. We got 3-4 Dylan Edwards right now. Trackhawk still there. He done brought some fast running backs, some fast receivers. He ain't got nothing but speed around him for what he need to do, for what he want to do. They gonna score. They gonna score regardless of what the record is. That's them type of offenses is gonna score. They gonna score a lot of points. That's why I say Jordan, you gonna look good, George, see, because they gonna be scoring all over the place. They're gonna allow you to lay your weight on somebody. He ain't gonna get no Mariners way. The only thing we need to be concerned about, or could be concerned about, is Livingston. Because Livingston is the last one. He's the last Mohican. We don't move Coach Hart out the way. Let him go and sugar-boo and analyze and recruit like he good at. Get out the linebacker room because it's clear. You know, you don't replace the linebacker room. I think Mathis may be still there. It looked like the defensive line coaches are still there. So if they not the problem, I wonder what Livingston doing. Cause I did not like decisions Livingston made. I don't name a few of them. Sometimes it's players, sometimes it's coaches, sometimes it's both. Last year I think it was a little both, but I think coaching plays a bigger role than what we will hope. So my concern is when you got all these guys out here who they can't. I don't know. You can't blame the players this year. You got the talent you need, and that's the only variable I have. I'm more questioning what the coach is gonna do than the doggone players. I feel like the players gonna come play. I just hope the coaches stay out their way. And I'm primarily talking about on the defensive side of the ball. Because it looks, we talked about how Schumann looks basic. The defense looked very basic. It just they wasn't tackling well. So I don't know how you do that. They wasn't, and that's gonna a lot of that gonna go away because a man out of tackle, not a tackle. Like you don't have to teach Hill Green how to tackle. You don't have to teach Hood how to body slam. There's certain aggression that you're gonna get out of a Boo Carter that the coach cannot do. He like a little Pat-Man Jones or something. He just a little aggressive something for no reason. I think they're gonna bring a lot of aggressive guys, and they just need to get out their way. I think that DB they bringing out of James Madison, I think he aggressive. He gonna slam people. I think the boy out of Notre Dame, they got. I'm gonna say it. I'm not gonna say it like this, and we're gonna end. I'm not guessing. I'm telling you, this gonna be the best team. Coach Prime said that was the best team. This is gonna be by far the most talented team he don't have. So he don't have no excuse. I just don't think. I think this gonna be the most talented OC he got. I believe that. I think it's gonna show. I think the offense is gonna be the most prolific we don't see them. Juju is gonna be methodical over these next 4 months. He got weapons, speed, and an OC out of this world. They gonna score 30 plus points a game, easy. And it ain't gonna be because of one player or the other. It's just the combination of factors and me knowing the game, what it is. I predicted the season when Shedeur went 10-2. I was right. This last season, I said I can't really do it. I if they had to use Salter a certain way, but I had no idea that Schumann was gonna do that garbage scheme. That right there let me know, okay, you're done. And y'all didn't want to commit to him and the quarterback. That killed the season early. I wasn't excited. I saw the way the season went. I was like, oh man, this is done. Coach Prime is toast. And then the players started in the Porter and not playing. And then he went and got married. I said that's the best thing he could have did because this season was over and possibly his career. And it wasn't gonna be exciting. It wasn't exciting for me at all, honestly. I was like, man, I don't like watching sorry football. I don't like why I gotta watch you. I don't have to watch you. Like you out there missing tackles. I can't support that, man. Like you gonna lose, but don't be just playing like some suckers. It's out there just playing like you never played before. They're just busting coverages for no reason. They're running the wrong way. Like, all right, did y'all practice? Like, I don't like that. I don't like that. But when you get a bunch of guys who know what they're doing and they actually want to be there, it's gonna be exciting. And it gives me a reason to do this stuff. Nobody getting rich off this, and it's just you have an outlet to talk about it. Y'all here because y'all interested in it. We take a few minutes out of our day and we listen to other people's stuff and as we, cutting the grass, washing dishes. What are we doing? We pop the little earbuds in and hey, I'm glad y'all here. You need light buttons up. That's what we do. And it's just an outlet and it's something we're interested in. And it's supposed to be fun. And it's supposed to be something that, like, yeah, that was entertaining. Because it's entertainment. Ain't nothing entertainment about garbage. I'm telling y'all, man. I don't like garbage, man. I don't spend my time with garbage. I'm not flattered. I don't have to do this. So it's like, I want a good product. And I believe Colorado has the potential to put out probably the best product we don't see. Period. They have the potential to put up more points than we've seen, even with Shedeur. Got weapons that even Shedeur didn't have. Definitely got offense coordinator that Shador didn't have, creativity, excitement. The only thing I question is Livingston, man. Livingston's gonna have to prove something or else I'll hate for him to be the weak link. Is he gonna leave? Because I keep hearing players and they talk to him and he got the NFL thing going for him and they he did this and he talking good. I haven't seen it. His first year I didn't see it. I mean, they played good, and I think he got a lot of credit. Oh, Livingston, I think Hilo played a big role at linebacker, man. I'm telling you, that Hill Green, man, he's the reason why they shut down when they went down to UCF and shut it down. It was him. It was his enforcement on the run game. Oh, they ain't running on it because it was him. They weren't finna run it. Hill Green was knocking people out the game left and right. And Shadoze, it was a fire hydrant right in the middle of the field. So it took 3 guys to try to move him out the way. That ain't you only got 2 other linemen. You got to bring in a tight end. Then you still got BJ Green on the field. You still had certain guys on the field. That it was the combination of things, man. It's the combination of things that really made that y'all got to know that, man. You listen to the people, man. You got to know football is about, how people say life is about, opportunity is and success is about opportunity and preparation equals success. Well, that's what it was with Colorado last year. That's what the difference was. It was a combination of factors. You still had Shador and Travis there, who was going to score. Shador was going to score. You may stop in one game or so, but he's going to score. You still got Travis out there. He's going to make plays. And then you had the Jimmys and LeJont's. And then they really had on run a game like that. That was the only thing. You didn't have any dynamic there. But you knew they was going to score. All you needed was a defense. And when you finally got a defense to go along with that, you had a successful season. You didn't have the best athletes out there. You didn't have the best secondary out there. Silver Craig was playing well. Shiloh was coming back from injury. You didn't have a lot of depth. You didn't have, Travis saved you from one side of the field. You had DJ McKinney. He looked like a stud out there because Travis was out there with him. Then he said, what is he, really? So you look decent in the secondary. You weren't shuffling around DBs like you did the year before, trying to figure out who's going to start, who's going to not. And then you turn around back this year and did the same thing. Who could be the court DB? Then you had injuries and everybody got these hand muffs on. I hope they better get some stronger hands. Just wear them up so you won't break. They wearing these pads on their helmet. They might wear pads with kitchen muffs on their hand. Oven muffs. Might as well. They ain't catching that anyway. But that's what I see, y'all. I see an exciting season, and that's what I see based off of the type of players they have, what they have accomplished so far. You got to see them on the field. I have seen them on the field. What they have accomplished so far. It's about how the pieces go together. And looking at past history and just knowing how the game works, they're going to be successful. They have the depth and the type of players that they need to get them over the hump. From these little games, they barely lost. They barely lost to TCU. They barely lost to Arizona State with garbage play calling, subpar. So you telling me all this talent they brought in, they want to beat these games? They want to beat BYU? They barely beat them? You got to look at it like that. That's how I knew they were going to win that last season when they went. Common sense. If you had half of these players they brought in this year and put them in there this year, they would have won. Because they was barely losing. Like what Coach Prime said, I just need a few dogs. That's always the case. If you had Boo Carter this past season, your defense is different. If you had just a couple of those linebackers in this season, you'll get not all 4 or 5 of them, just a couple of linebackers in there. If you had ESPN this year, it's a different season. Because that's where your gaps were. Your linebacker play was horrible. Your secondary play was very fickle. Your tackling, you need people who know how to tackle. These boys, they known for tackling for loss and tackling. They're not going to be out here arm tackling. That's the difference in Colorado winning and losing. It's the type of players that they bringing in and how it all goes together. They asked me, How many games does Coach Prime have to win? He can't lose 8. He can't lose 8, no more than 8. I mean, he got to win at least 8. But realistic with the type of talent he got, and after the last season he had, he needs to be a contender for the Big 12. He has the talent to do it. So there's no excuse. Big 12 is, I'm not knocking Big 12. Big 12 is competitive. Clearly, they did decent. They had a team go to playoff for the last couple of years and did decent. They represented. But they ain't dominating each other like that. They ain't beating people like how Indiana beating people. Yeah, they gotta win these 10 games, man. They say they win 10 games, they'll be in a championship. Exactly. They need to be in that championship. They need to be down there in Arlington. Well, they be playing Jerry's World, whatever. That's where they need to be at. Because the talent, it demands nothing but that. You got one of the best quarterbacks who's ready to prove himself. You got one of the best OCs. You got one of the best offensive tackles. And you're going to have some other people pop out, some receivers pop out, some big playmakers that you just brought in from lower level. You got some headhunters on the defense that's going to be popping out. There's no way you shouldn't be one of the top teams in your conference. Arizona State ain't even that good. You know, the Arizona State ain't that good. Honestly, I mean, look at this too. Iowa State, they don't lost their coach, right? Oklahoma State, they've been kind of fell off. Arizona State, I think they pretty much in a rebuild. Utah, they coach left. You know, Arizona, they don't lost their quarterback. It's nobody coming back like how Texas Tech came back with all their quarterbacks and all that. They might because of the amount of money they spent and they still attracting people. They may be another top team. BYU is, to me, is an average team. They're not great. They just average. And Colorado, the way they just played them, they showed they were just average, even though they were ranked and all that. And they're not gonna lose a lot of games because they're this one, but Colorado should spank them. TCU, they hit or miss. I don't see nobody in the conference. I don't even know the schedule outside of Texas Tech. I don't even think Cincinnati, even their quarterback left. Try to go. Didn't he try to go to? Did he go to Texas Tech or Texas A&M or something? He went somewhere. One of them schools down south. It's hard to tell who's gonna do what Big 12, but I just told him. You know, I just named it. Like, I don't know what they're gonna do, but I know from what the type of talent Colorado has and how they have played these other teams with lesser, insufficient talent and competed for the last couple of years. I don't see why Colorado is not a contender. I don't care how they rank them. You know, they come out and Colorado's 10th in the conference. I don't care about that mess. Colorado should beat everybody. Houston, they should beat all of them. Based off of what I've seen Colorado do with less talent, far less talent. With all this talent they have no excuse but to spank these other teams. I'm going to leave it at that. I appreciate y'all taking the time here. I'm just Greg said it. Make sure y'all new here. Make sure you hit that like button while you're here. It don't cost a dime. Just go ahead and hit it. Subscribe if you haven't. Don't just be lurking. Go ahead and get it. Especially if you've been watching, go ahead and subscribe. It don't cost a dime to subscribe. I ain't charging you to subscribe and all that. I don't even know what I get out of it. You just look good, I guess. You know, like, share, subscribe, you know, share. Maybe it'll benefit me somehow. But sit for my time and your time. You here, I'm here. Go ahead and hit that subscribe. Go ahead and hit that like. If you're watching on replay, do the same, especially if you made it this far. That's my social currency. Y'all have a good rest of y'all day, and I'll talk to y'all soon.